Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling the ultimate cosmic what if. We're going to explore the potentially catastrophic, or maybe just maybe miraculously rewarding, hypothetical reality where H.P. Lovecraft's absolutely most powerful deity actually exists. Okay, let's dive into this. What if the single most powerful entity in the entire Cthulhu mythos didn't just live in the pages of weird fiction, but was real? Like, actually existed in our reality. We are talking about a thought experiment with stakes so massive, they literally span the entire multiverse.
Section 1. Meet the ultimate outer palette.
So, before we can even wrap our heads around this, we first need to define what an outer god actually is. Think of them as the gods of the old gods. To put that completely incomprehensible scale into perspective, an outer god is to Cthulhu what Cthulhu is to, well, us, a regular human being. We are dealing with a level of power that just utterly dwarfs almost everything else in the known lore. We first hear the name Yog-Sothoth in Lovecraft's classic, The Case of Charles Dexter Ward. And guys, this isn't just some monster hiding in the dark. It is an all-knowing, all-seeing entity that is said to exist at literally all points in time simultaneously. It's the actual, literal embodiment of all time and space across the entire multiverse. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly where it sits in the cosmic family tree. Way back at the dawn of time, you've got Azathoth, the grandfather. Then, spanning all of eternity, you have Yog-Sothoth. And then from ages past, we have Cthulhu, the grandson. You can see the sheer scale here. The Yogmeister actually completely outranks Cthulhu. Section 2. Profiling the cosmic horror. All right, now that we know its rank, let's try to picture its physical form, which is tough because there's a terrifying problem with Lovecraftian monsters. The human brain simply isn't wired to process them. When Yoggers does visually manifest, it's usually described as this massive shifting cluster of glowing spheres. These spheres are constantly merging and breaking apart. Oh, and of course, it wouldn't be cosmic horror without some seriously disturbing, writhing tendrils thrown in the mix. But here is the massive, glowing red warning label. Simply viewing Yoggy Baby, or honestly, even just learning too much about it, guarantees instant insanity. And I've got to admit, just from the psychological toll of researching the lore for this explainer, I'm starting to feel a little bit crazy myself. Section 3. A History of Summoning.
Despite that guaranteed ticket to the psych ward, humans in fiction have historically been pretty eager to interact with the Yog-Man. They treat it almost like a twisted cosmic genie. Just look at the wildly diverse resume of the Yog-Machine here. In the 1928 story The Dunwich Horror, a guy summoned it to create monstrous offspring. Yikes. But then in The Haunter of the Dark, Robert Blake summoned it to save himself from another monster. People use incantations with its name to revive the dead in Charles Dexter Ward, and it even popped up in Doctor Who as the Great Intelligence to help someone gain power. So honestly, depending on its mood, it can be surprisingly benevolent.
Section 4. What if it was real?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is taking all those fictional precedents and applying them to our real world. What could you actually get? I mean, just imagine having an omnipotent Yog the Bounty Hunter right at your side, ready to grant your deepest desires. If you actually pulled off the summoning and treated Yog Dog like your own personal Aladdin's lamp, here is the ultimate wish list. You could basically ask for infinite money, worldwide fame, the ability to fly, incredible supernatural powers. You could even ask for good looks, though, as the sources playfully point out, there are always some limits. But think about the bigger picture. If these rituals actually worked, overnight our entire society would transform. Humanity would rapidly abandon all its old structures. New religions would spring up literally everywhere, dedicated to worshiping the Yogster in exchange for those guaranteed supernatural gifts. If it was feeling generous and happy to lend a hand, humanity would basically hand the world right over to it.
Section 5. Is the risk worth it?
So the crucial point is really contrasting these two extremes, because before you go running off to summon a cosmic entity to pay off your mortgage, you have to look at the terrifying flip side. The best case scenario is awesome, limitless power, wealth, and miracles from a benevolent outer god. But the worst case scenario? Instant insanity just from glancing at it. Or worse, an absolute eternity of torture because you messed up a word in the ritual. You really, really do not want to anger Clifford the Big Red Yog. And there are just so many unpredictable variables here. Is Yogi Boy naturally benevolent, or is it completely apathetic to us? Does it only choose to help people who are truly desperate? What if the ritual requires some massive, incredibly valuable sacrifice? Will a simple mistake in your incantation cause you to mysteriously vanish from existence? The terrifying reality is, we have absolutely no idea how it decides who gets a reward and who gets eternally punished.
So, weighing those infinite rewards against the absolute guarantee of cosmic horror, would you risk summoning Yog-Sothoth? And if you actually took that ultimate gamble, what would you ask for? It's a fascinating and frankly completely terrifying possibility to think about. Thanks so much for diving into the multiverse with me on this explainer, and keep seeking out those big answers.